I'm getting told that it's time. See, I can only look at that clock up there, and apparently it's off. But we're going to go ahead and get started because I'm getting told it's close enough to 6:30. So we're going to get started. We're going to start with prayer first, and then we'll get into some housekeeping things. Basic format is I'm going to read Proverbs 28, then we're going to discuss it. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, snide remarks, anything of that nature, leave it in the comment section, and Tori behind the camera will be handling those. We do have a few teenagers here in the living room. Some of them laughing just off screen. They will be interjecting as well, and we'll be getting some feedback from there. Looking forward to that. So, all right. So, God, you're an awesome God. Thank you so much for allowing us to get together through this medium where it was intended to drive us apart with stay-at-home orders and things of that nature. You still provided a way where we can go to others and fellowship with them as well as study your word. Let us dive into Proverbs and see what it holds for us today. Amen. All right. So, a couple housekeeping things. One, I don't know about the rest of you, but I am looking forward to having Bible study with the youth at Six Points Church in Parker in the near future. I miss it. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Timothy Holt. I'm the youth pastor. That is my lovely wife, Dorothy.
You sound like a monkey.
And we do have a few other teenagers in the house. Including one doing some weird dance over there.
Yeah.
But also, I am the host of 90 and Out on YouTube. So this video will be getting ported over there later in the week. You can rewatch it and do that. So now, this is live, so keep that in mind. Also, other few things is I would like to give a shout out and a thank you to our state overseer, Bishop Mackey, and his wife for their support, as well as our state youth director, Joe Valentine, his wife, and their support. Our local senior pastor, Dave and Diana Hutch, and their support, as well as everyone who has made this work so far the last few weeks while we have been handling this transition. So, with that being said, I have a blue-haired teenager who looks like he's an 80s rocker headbanging. So for those of you who think 80s big hair bands are dead, you haven't met him yet. All right, so we are coming to a close in the next couple of weeks with Proverbs and our study. We've been doing the even chapters on Wednesday nights. We're doing going over chapter 28 right now. Next week will be chapter 30. For those of you who don't know, there are 31 chapters in Proverbs, so that would conclude our study. However, a couple of the teenagers have asked that we cover Proverbs 31. So we will be doing that in 2 weeks, and then we'll be studying other things. So I encourage the teenagers, including the ones who are doing some weird stuff just off camera, trying to get me to laugh, to suggest subjects for us to discuss. No subject is off limits. That's the beauty of what I like about the Bible as well as Proverbs specifically. Proverbs, for the most part, is written from a father's perspective to his teenage son on everything that involves being a man and manhood and adult life, human life. Proverbs 31 stands out in stark contrast because it's written from a different perspective. Instead of... Do you have a comment?
I'm not doing anything, but she's like over here.
Yeah, you are. You're making weird hand signals. Do you want to interject?
She's like over here like...
Okay. All right. So, Proverbs 31 is written from a different perspective. It's not written from the father's perspective. It's written from the mother's perspective, again, to the teenage son. So we'll be looking at Proverbs 31, and then we'll be moving on to other subjects. So no subject is off limits. We can discuss any subject that is requested. So if you want a subject to be presented and discussed from a biblical worldview in our Bible studies, please leave a comment. You can also private message myself or our senior pastors, Dave and Diana, or Dorothy Holt. If you want to remain anonymous, you can ask remain anonymous, and we'll simply discuss the subject and leave your name out of it. So this is for the teenagers who are currently present. What do you do?
I'm not allowed on my phone, but she's allowed on hers. This is rigged.
Yeah.
I
what's up?
reject.
I'm on the Bible app.
Oh,
Now you're getting there.
All right,
You were
so
on Facebook.
I will be reading from the New King James Version of the Christian Bible. Not because it's my favorite version, but simply because I have it in paper copy. I usually read from my app on my phone, which we're using as a camera right now. And I do enjoy reading from several different English translations. But tonight, we're going to be continuing to use the New King James Version. And if you are using a different English translation, let us know in the comments, as well as some of the differences. That'd be great. All right, so let's get started. Any questions, comments?
John said hello, Tim.
Hi, John.
Sharon Barnhart McClavery said hello, everyone. And Deb said hi.
Hi. All right, let's get into what is in Proverbs 28. Keep in mind this is from a father's perspective to his son. So, all right. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. Because of transgressions of a land, many are its princes. But by a man of understanding and knowledge, right will be prolonged. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a driving rain which leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all. Better is the poor who walks in his integrity than one perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Therefore, whoever keeps the law is a discerning son, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. One who increases his possessions by usury and extortion gathers it for him who will pity the poor. One who turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer is an abomination. Whoever causes the upright to go astray in an evil way, he himself will fall into his own pit. But the blameless will inherit good. The rich man is wise in his own eyes, and the poor who has understanding searches him out. When the righteous rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked arise, men hide themselves. He who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will have mercy. Happy is a man who is always reverent, but he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Like a roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over poor people. A ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor, but he who hates covetousness will prolong his days. A man burdened with bloodshed will flee into a pit, but no one will help him. Whoever walks blamelessly will be saved, but he who is perverse in his ways will suddenly fall. He who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows frivolity? I'm not sure what that word is, I'm going to be honest. Anybody know?
What? You should know
Frivolity? Frivolity?
Which verse
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Which verse are you on?
We're on verse 19. We'll have poverty enough.
He that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough.
Sure, we'll go with that version. What version is that?
King James, I think.
Sure. She's reading from an app, so that's cool.
I'm reading from the-
Alright, continuing on in verse 20. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. To show partiality is not good, because for a piece of bread a man will transgress. A man with an evil eye hastens after riches, and does not consider that poverty will come upon him. He who rebukes a man will find more favor afterward than he who flatters with a tongue. Whoever robs his father or his mother and says, "It is no transgression," the same is a companion to a destroyer. He who is of a proud heart stirs up strife, but he who trusts in the Lord will be prospered.
His phone just went off. It's fine.
I thought you planned the pie.
Keep reading.
I have no idea why he's laughing, but I think it has something to do with a notification on his phone.
No. No, it's because he pressed the plan. I put the plan in the Bible and it was like, John!
Ha-ha! He hit the wrong button.
I started reading the Bible to him.
It started reading it to him, which is kind of weird.
I like it when you can read because I can't read.
You can read.
All right, come on.
All right, going on. Verse 27. He who gives to the poor will not lack, but he who hides his eyes will have many curses. When the wicked arise, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. All right, so that is Proverbs 28. So in the comments, let us know which one stands out for you. Meanwhile, I'm going to talk to some of these teenagers here in the room and see what they took away from this. So, Torsten, we'll start with you.
Bruh.
Yeah, bruh. What's up? Yo, what up?
Not much, you.
So, what stood out? What caught your eye, caught your attention? What'd you pick up on?
A lion. I heard lion.
A lion? You heard about a
I
lion?
heard about a lion.
Just kind of droned on after that. Okay. All right, Zayden.
The way they integrated the woods mixed with the paper on the paper and the way
What?
The way the words and how you
use your voice to persuade the words.
I think he's being overtly silly because he's like laughing without talking. It's kind of funny. Not really, actually. It's really hard. So back to Torsten. I think Torsten was talking about like a roaring lion and a charging bear is a wicked ruler over poor people.
Yeah.
Okay, why'd that stick out?
I have no clue.
Okay,
I
fair
like
enough.
Lion and I like lions.
You like lions?
Yeah.
So that just like caught your ear?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, good pet.
So lions roar, but lionesses do not.
That's cool.
So the females cannot roar, only the males do. And the female lions do almost all the hunting.
It sounds like a British person. Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. But a charging bear. For those of you who are not familiar with Western Pennsylvania, bear hunting is a thing. And
That'd be fun.
I once heard a joke that if you're getting chased by a bear, you should, and you want to know if it's a black bear or a brown bear, you guys know what you should do?
You climb the tree, one knocks it down, one climbs up after you.
But do you know which is which?
The black one's smart and is like, nah, fam, I can't climb, yonk.
Oh, I was going to say at that point it really doesn't matter because they're both going to use you as a mauling bag. What?
Ask him what's
All right,
about to
so-
him.
How about we ask you, Toy? Huh?
Yeah, Tori.
Because I'm reading comments.
Yeah.
What comments?
And I'm drawing. What you put?
Hey, Dad, quick.
Pastor Dave said, "Hi, Pastor Tim." And Pastor Diana said, "Me too, Zayden."
Don't know where
And then Pastor Dave said, "Hi, Cheryl." And Pastor Dave said, "Bear hiding is a thing for me."
Bear hiding.
Hey.
So, speaking of bears, actually, there are known to be bears around our church at 6 Points. So, just want to let you know, Pastor Dave and Diana, there are bears in the area, and I'm told they're good eats, but I'm not sure on that. You might be wrong about it. I don't know. He seems like bear.
Pastor Diana said, "I don't want to find out which bear is which."
Yeah, me neither. I'm not a big fan of hanging out with the bears. I figure they can handle all the fishing as well because I'm not a big fisherman, so we'll let the bears take care of the fish.
John 3:16.
Oh, no.
What about John 3:16?
What is it?
We didn't read it.
Yeah.
What is it?
Zayden, that's
Testing
off
your
topic.
knowledge. What is it?
I think that's off subject. Why?
That's off
Yeah,
subject.
What is the voice, though?
It doesn't matter. It's off.
Tell me the voice, Dad.
Why?
Because I know it.
For God so loved the world that He sent His
From
only
away from
Son,
6
that
people.
who should ever believe shall not perish but have everlasting.
Intelligence.
Now, Zayden, what stood out from you other than me reading on this page here?
Oh, the actions that you must pursue with your voice.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Like it was like, so God one day. What?
Clearly, he's trying to imitate how I was reading. I think he was meaning I should have probably had like a teleprompter. Is that what you're trying to say? I could have a teleprompter sitting up there, and you could just call me Joe. Sleepy Joe Biden.
Hey, hey.
No, I'm just kidding. What's up?
Pastor Diana said those bears better stay away from 6 Point. And Deb said the verse means roaring lions and charging bears are like a dictator ruling over
A dictator.
poor people,
So,
keeping them poor.
keeping them poor. I would agree with Dave. Did you guys hear that? Not Dave. Deb, right? Deb said that? Yeah. I agree with Deb. This is verse 15. Is a pretty good proverb as far as like how to handle leaders and elected officials. Wicked rulers rule over poor people, keeping them poor. Throughout history, people have ruled over each other. And speaking of John 3:16, Jesus' disciples actually asked him, how do we know who is going to be the leaders, who's going to be above everyone else? And Jesus said, well, you see everybody else, you see those rulers, they lord over everyone, they stand above everybody. I once heard a guy say, paraphrase it as, you see, they... What?
There, you're good.
Oh, okay. A little technical difficulty there. All right, so Jesus said, with you guys, with my disciples, you guys are not going to be like them. Your leaders are not going to be like the world's leaders who rule like a roaring lion, like a charging bear, and keep people poor. Instead, you're going to lift other people up. You're going to lead by serving. Servant leader. So that's kind of interesting. What are you doing? Are you trying to demonstrate what a charging bear does?
No,
Or
just lay down.
Oh, no, you're trying to get past the camera.
you're trying to lay down? What? I mean,
I looked
Timothy,
at the camera.
You're trying to...
Timothy.
yeah.
Pastor Dave said he sent his only son and a gun. Sorry.
Is that to get the bear in the charging line?
Billy, get the rifle!
And Deb said bears won't attack you seeing them. You love seeing them. Just don't get between a soul and cub.
I think that's a mama.
Mama said.
Pastor Diana said, don't worry, Deb. I won't get near them. I won't go near them.
Yeah, don't get between a mama bear and her cubs. It's going to be a bad day for you. No Macarena needed, okay?
Ha
Man, some of you who are watching this are probably going to go, what is he talking about? And that's because I have 4 teenagers in this room, and I don't know if you can see Torsten.
I don't belong here.
Okay. But there's only one of them. He's trying to hide in the corner and be like invisible. The rest of them are being absolutely silly, and this is kind of a crazy thing.
Where am I not?
Anybody want to see?
Not really.
So last week we covered 26, which talked a lot about. Hey guys, keep your hands and feet to yourself. Come on.
Disgusting.
Last week we talked about Proverbs 26, which had a lot to do with being stupid, to put it nicely. It had a lot of proverbs about foolishness.
Doing better than
However, 28
Break
seems to be concentrated more on transitioning to leadership. Keep in mind, Proverbs is known as the Book of Proverbs of Solomon, King Solomon. It was collected about 400 or 500 years after King Solomon's life. Okay, so they collected all of these wise sayings. Most of them are attributed to King Solomon, who is considered the wisest king in Jewish history, as well as one of the wisest, if not the wisest people in human history. Stop. We're not flashing gang signs here, man.
It's not a gang sign.
Okay.
It's a naughty.
No.
Naughty.
So, pay attention, okay? So, that father to son is a key there. A lot of people think this is different sayings that King David could have passed on to his son Solomon as far as being a king. And Proverbs 28 is a lot about ruling and kingship. And so there's a ruler who lacks understanding is a great oppressor. But he who hates covetousness will prolong his days. If we look at some pretty awful regimes in human history, most of them weren't founded on scientific fact. And you laughing at the cat? Because he doesn't care. He's kind of like Honey Badger. Honey Badger don't care.
Pastor Dave said great job, then doing better than I. And then this human said, me too, I work behind the scenes.
So, 28 is all about leadership and ruling. Now, right now, there's a lot of things going on coming from our elected offices, elected officials. I actually have posted a few things on Facebook the last couple days about some of that. Yes, you can play with the cat. However, today, I was going to pick up the car, and one of the secretaries for our representative called me back. And that just impressed me. She was informative, polite, respectful, and a lot of times we hear bad things, negative things about our leaders, about the government, about, we think they should have done this. If we're talking football, it's the Monday armchair quarterback. And what are you signing?
Nothing.
Sorry, I got someone behind the camera here who I think needs to take up sign language, and then she could be in front of the camera for those who are audibly impaired. Yeah, I don't think that's it. I'm not sure what that is.
It's a cat.
But every once in a while, it's good to hear when our elected officials, when our leadership does good things, and they lead well. And this happened with me today. So, just don't write everybody off in the government as being horrible, terrible people who just don't care. Sometimes you got to give people the benefit of the doubt because they're going to make mistakes. They're humans too. Try not kicking the camera. And we're going to cut over to that guy in the corner who's trying to pretend like we forgot about him, and he doesn't really want to talk. So, Xander, what you got going on, man?
Well, I finished my drawing.
Huh?
I finished my drawing.
You finished drawing while you're drawing while we're talking here?
Yeah, see.
Looks like a race car driver or something?
Or a man.
Iron Man, but
Or a man.
Yeah, I'm going with Formula One race car driver.
Pastor Diane said about that the representative's assistant called you back. I'm impressed.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I really like, her name's Christy in that office, and she really cares about serving people and serving constituents, which is great.
Pastor Dave said, great word, Pastor Tim. And then Pastor Diana said, Xander is never forgotten.
That's right. So, Xander, why are you drawing Iron Man's head and making it look like it's a race car helmet?
You should put
I
a
don't
stick
know
down.
that race
And it's like,
and I'm drawing it because it's fun.
Okay, is that because you're bored?
No, because I like drawing.
Oh, okay.
I draw all the time.
Okay.
oh.
Yeah.
You want to draw inspiration from what we're reading?
No.
That would be play on words for those of you who didn't catch that. All right, so Xander, what about leadership? Give me an example of when you had to talk to someone in authority over you and it went well.
Never.
Think.
Never. Not one time.
When it went well.
Not one time.
You can't remember a single time.
Not one.
Not one.
Not one.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
We'll give you some minutes. So I'm getting waved at from behind the camera. What's up?
Deb Thompson says, verse 4, those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law content with them. This fits today to a T. We have many today who have forsaken the law, praise the wicked, but there are those like me that have to content with them. And Diana Hutch said, he's trying to make it look like Solomon.
He was trying to make it look like something.
His picture.
Oh, nice. So Deb, I think, has onto something there. I took a med legal class studying to be a paramedic, and I really enjoyed that class. We had a civil lawsuit litigation lawyer teaching the class, and he presented it as a law class. So we had prosecution and others. Come on in. We have another teenager joining us.
Feel welcomed.
Have a seat.
Oh, don't feel welcomed.
Yeah.
And
I felt the same way.
so he had a saying that the law, no matter if the law is good or bad, whether it's just or unjust, it should be applied equally across the board without exception. And his methodology behind that was, if it's not applied equally without exception, then you can't judge whether or not it's effective, whether or not it's going to benefit the population. And all rulers, whether they're with a constitutional republic like we have here in the United States and here specifically in Pennsylvania, or it's a constitutional monarch like they have in Great Britain, or a dictatorship that's called a president in various other countries, rulers need to serve the people. Without serving the people, the wicked will prosper and abound, and the people will perish. So right now, I do agree that there's a lot of loopholes. There's a lot of people just flat out going, you know what, I'm not going to do that. And laws are being made that aren't getting universally applied. We can actually see that with, right now, with the stay-at-home order. Farmers markets are closed, but large grocery store chains are open. And that's not universal application. And it allows for a lot of jesting going on, a lot of making fun of, and it's really difficult to determine whether or not something's effective or beneficial. So let's not throw the cat, guys.
She threw the cat. That wasn't me. She threw the cat.
But I do like that. I just read right over that one about forsaking the law and praising the wicked. Yeah, that falls into verse 5. Evil men do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understand all. Evil people do not seek justice. Plain and simple. Because justice, by all accounts, means that we're all guilty. And if I'm guilty, so are you, and if you're guilty, so am I. But we're guilty of different things, but we're still guilty. That universal application, nobody above the law. If we look at the Constitution of the United States and the founding documents, there is this overriding understanding that no one should be above the law. There was no diplomatic immunity. There was none of the loopholes. It was everybody universally applied. Actually, the first military action after the Constitution was adopted was the Whiskey Rebellion. Now, for you teenagers,
Me, I'm a teen.
for you teenagers, you guys should know what the Whiskey Rebellion was.
What?
Because I'm certain all four of you.
Because we're not allowed to have it.
No, all four of you have studied Pennsylvania history. So, where
I
did
haven't.
the Whiskey Rebellion happen?
You have.
No.
Where did it happen? Where did it take place?
Elementary school.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Western Pennsylvania is where the Whiskey Rebellion took place, and it was people protesting tax on whiskey.
Whiskey.
Pastor Diana said yes, amen. Not universal application at all.
And George Washington actually, as President George Washington, he did not agree with the whiskey tax, okay, personally speaking, but it was still the law. So he came to put down the rebellion with the army and was quoted as saying that no matter whether the law is good or bad, it must be universally applied, and if they wanted to protest, they could peacefully and get the law overturned. By the way, we still have a federal whiskey tax.
Peaceful do not get you anywhere.
So,
yeah, it makes us not want to have any.
We got any other questions? Comments?
No.
Just the one I just read.
All right.
The guy questioned.
Zach, what's up, man? Where you going? Come join us.
Going downstairs.
All right, then join us. All right, so you guys got any questions, comments?
No.
All right. Real quick, what are some subjects you guys want to cover?
Best way to pray.
Best way to pray? We can do that.
Philippians.
Philippians? Okay.
I don't know. It's
Ooh,
first
I got one.
first
Zach,
book
what's
became-
something you would like covered?
I don't know.
Drug abuse.
Drug abuse? We can do that. There's drug abuse in the Bible.
No, diabetes.
Okay. Gluttony's in the Bible.
Diabetes.
All right. If there's no other questions, we're going to call this come to a close.
Pastor
Join us.
Diana said, "Come back, Zach."
Yep.
Yeah, Zach.
Why won't
yeah,
you
Zach. Come on.
stay?
Come on, Zach. Come sit down.
So next week we are going to be looking at Proverbs 30. The following week will be Proverbs 31 by special request. And then we'll be covering some of these suggestions. If you have a suggestion you would like covered, you can private message me or get a hold of me in other ways. Let me know. If you want to be anonymous, let me know that. Otherwise, no subject is off limits. We will cover any subject you want
How about COVID?
in the next few weeks. Hopefully, we will be back in our building at 6 Points in the near future. That'd be great. I'm looking forward to it. I know I'm not the only one. What's that staring for?
Deb said, "Thanks, Tim."
You're welcome, Deb. Thank you for joining us. What about eggs? Oh yeah, if you want to buy some eggs, feel free, stop by, get some. That's a shameless plug, mainly because we have a refrigerator full of eggs.
Can we send
Yeah.
you by delivery?
COVID-19 is 19, so it can't legally touch us.
Well, us. Or teenagers. They can't. Don't see me. I was saying.
Come on, that was funny.
No, it wasn't.
Hey, Dad.
I thought he was going to say something else.
I
about
found my
COVID-19.
personal delivery.
Hey, Diana said, "Thank you, Pastor Tim," and Pamela Vogel said, "We all are. Can't wait."
All right. So even after we get back to routine with 6 Points Church, if you live in this area, Parker, Emlington, here in Eau Claire, feel free and join us at 6 Points Church. We would love to have you. If you want to continue after that with, if you want to continue this format after that, let me know. I'm not opposed to it. I do enjoy it. Also, if you want to have other engagement, you can check us out at 90 and Out on YouTube. What's up?
Do you need egg cartons?
Sure, if people want to donate them, that'd be great.
Yo. Jesus.
So we're going to bring this to a close. We're going to pray. Next time wear a face mask.
Cheryl said, "Thanks for tonight's lesson. Have a great evening."
All right. So we're going to pray here. God, you're an awesome God. Thank you so much for the wisdom contained in this book. Even when we don't want to read it, even when we don't want to accept it, a lot of times life knocks us down simply because we're being foolish and stupid. Other times it's because other people are being foolish and stupid. But when we do act in a wise fashion, we tend to prosper. And for that, thank you. Also, thank you that Jesus didn't take my place on the cross. He took his place on the cross and forgave me. You're awesome, God. Amen.
Amen.
In closing, don't take my word for any of it. Pick it up, read it for yourself, and thank you.